Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in the state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent, it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Everyone else is a victim of the theft, the deceit, the dishonesty, and the lies that corruption feeds on. You need to know that a corrupt person is stealing from you. Corruption is filthy work and despicable acts of treachery done under the table and behind closed doors. Corruption is a disgusting shame. Corruption keeps a nation back from true development and from progress. Wise investors steer clear of a corrupt environment. They would rather put their resources into a place where the playing field of opportunity is equal for all and not bent towards feeding the financial lust of corrupt, lying, cheating, thieving politicians and government officials. How many wonderful development projects have been lost because the investors didn't want to do business in a swamp of evil? When those great projects go to another nation or to some other place, we all lose. Believe me when I tell you that corruption steals from you, it steals from all of us. Corruption plunders the nation's wealth. Corrupt people compromise on truth, equity, and fairness, choosing instead to feed off the short-term benefits of crookedness, exploitation, and financial perversion. Corruption is not just a personal matter. It's a culture. It's a way of life, not just for individual people, but for companies, communities, governments, and nations. Corrupt nations, hiding behind large companies, will seek to invest in other weak nations in order to take over the assets of the nation that they've invested into. They will provide financial loans to a nation for the much-needed infrastructure, and they will do it with assets that they provide. They will sign contracts by lining the pockets of rotten government officials who participate in this kind of corruption and are then held hostage by their own deceit and greed. Corruption is nothing less than a form of theft and national robbery. A corrupt person steals from everyone in society.
Run, keep going on, less process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So just I say watch a man around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Day or night. We gotta bust down Babylon walls. Prepare the way. Prepare the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down war and crime. Fight down. Me say Rastafari. War and crime. And do that righteousness. And we love. I will love Jaja, Jah Rastafari. I will love Jaja, Jah Rastafari. Save all people. Yeah, we love Jaja, we love Jaja, Jah Rastafari. We love Jaja, Jah Rastafari. Preserve all people. Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I and I as a watchman, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace while we penalize. Hey, oh, night. We gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare the way, prepare the way for Jah Rastafari. Fight down war and fight down war and fight. Rastafari, war and crime, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah, and we love Jah Rastafari. Preserve all, and we love Jah Rastafari. Me love Jah Rastafari. Me love Jah Rastafari. Preserve all. Me love Jah Rastafari.
You may ask the question, will our country get any better when it comes to corruption, particularly corruption in high places? Some might answer you the question, if all of us is involved in it, there might not be a reason to find a solution for it, because all of us are involved in it. So even if it bothers us, it is just the way of life. It's a part of the system. You know the word, a sunny tingo. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for being here. We're out here this evening because those of you who are here, you would have listened to this morning, and I'm not going to try to make sense of it, but I just want to say to Mr. Big and Worthless, if it is that the documents wet up in a flood water, you could show the damaged document. But if the documents are lost, that's a different thing. They may be damaged and you have to dispose of them, but they cannot be lost or missing and then they were flooded. So you need to fix, even though Julian saying want the report, right? But you need to fix that part there. But such is our country. Such is public services in our country. These are the people you see sat in front of the PAC committee. Those are the people meant to make our country run financially, administratively, and operationally sound. Neither of the three, them not do. Neither of the three. Everybody, one big good evening, family. Me now go turn out late this man because we have appointment early tomorrow. Remember, me have a day full of appointment tomorrow. But if you come out and come ask the PNP a few questions, and as I said, I was going to give my views on the PNP on this matter. And when it comes to Mark Golding decision making, it's looking more shaky in public now because Mark Golding cannot tell us in good faith that he was not aware of Dennis Gordon's company. I'm not saying Mark Golding would be aware of the transaction. He would be aware that Dennis Gordon own and operate Jacden and others. Now, when this thing came out, Dennis Gordon lied not just to Mark Golding, but to the country. Dennis Gordon put out a statement. TVJ was to apologize to Dennis Gordon when Dennis Gordon was fully well embroiled in the tax exemption fraud. 2 companies, at least, of the 4 that is involved in the tax exemption fraud, 2 belongs to Mr. Gordon. These are the people who make laws in our country. And if Mr. Gordon is breaking the law at the point he was a local government representative, at that point when Mr. Gordon broke the law, he was a local government representative. Mr. Gordon is also the chairman of Area 3. Mr. Gordon is also given, I believe, a shadow cabinet position. Mr. Gordon also has a seat, I believe, on the PAC committee. Now go back to Mark Golding's decision making. When the report surfaced, and I was one of the first person to start call Dennis Gordon's name, even though I come out and enforce TVJ and people like that to back down and apologize. Dennis Gordon didn't admit accountability, did not accept the report. Dennis Gordon make it look to the public, this has nothing to do with me. They're just making up propaganda when it comes to me and my company. It's a political narrative. But Mr. Gordon was heavily involved in the tax exemption fraud, something Mr. Gordon benefited from financially and personally. Now, saying that he's going to pay it back, that's not the only thing here. Because the University of the West Indies, who MOCA find liable, have to pay that money out of our pocket. So UHWI need to tell us how they might go get back with money from Dennis. Not only that though, there must be moral and political liability coming out of this as well. The PNP here needs to work twofold on this matter. We cannot remove Mr. Gordon as an MP because we don't have the impeachment laws. That is left to the next general election. But to reaffirm Mr. Golden's stance on integrity and corruption, don't know how that is going when Dennis Gordon sit down there lying that it was not my company, when Mark Golden have confidence in Dennis Gordon. I don't know how good this look for Mark Golden decision making. You remember Mark Golden, the whole Lawrence Rowe debacle. It also goes back to Mark Golden vetting and decision making. Can rich people really feel our pain? Can they understand our struggle? Dennis Gordon, the multimillionaire, Dennis Gordon must be removed from the PAC committee. He must be removed from the shadow cabinet. And he must be removed as the party chairman for Area 3. That is my suggestion to Mark Golden. Make that move. And then when you clean house, Mark Golden, but then again, Mark Golden really too soft for this year, because there have to be a way to bring down Christopher Tufton. There has got to be a way to bring down Christopher Tufton. You don't have the capacity or whatever it is at the moment to bring the entire Andrew Holness regime down. You certainly do, with all of what's plucking out and the tardy running of the Ministry of Health and the plethora of money just going up in the air like smoke within the ministry. The PNP must clean house by removing Dennis Gordon from all the places he need to be removed from: shadow cabinet, PAC, and from the area chairmanship. Then what Mark Golden needs to do after that, if they have the testicular fortitude to do it, is to go on an almighty all-out war and refuse to sit in Parliament until Christopher Tufton resigns or Andrew Holness sack Christopher Tufton. There have got to be a way to bring Christopher Tufton down. It cannot be when they can refuse to sit in Parliament with those people. Of course, Norman, they can do it. Remember, Andrew Holness set the precedent. That's how Andrew Holness got rid of Azan out of Portia Simpson's government. They can do it. Mark Golden is refusing to do it. Whether Andrew Wheatley is the director or not, that doesn't matter. It's immaterial in this case because the company is owned by Dennis Gordon. He would be the one who receives the financial benefit. If that is the case, though, what the people of Jamaica must observe, those in the tribal political circle, is that all of them are friends. All of them are partner in crime. Are we one out here enemy? JLP MPs and councillors are friends. The whole of them come together and scam we. The whole of them come together and thief we. The whole of them turn a blind eye and allow each others to thief we. Are we alone a fool out here, you know? Regardless if something goes on or not, the whole of these people are friends. So it's not impossible that something like that could be true. Because it's only us, the people of Jamaica, that isn't focusing. It's only us, the people of Jamaica, don't want anything. Yes, Jamrock. So I hope Mark Golden, because if you don't clean house with Dennis Gordon, it will be a burden of hypocrisy to launch such an attack on Christopher Tufton successfully. You must clean house first by removing Dennis Gordon from PAC, Shadow Cabinet, and from Area 3 chairmanship. When Dennis Gordon paid that moral and political price, then you turn your attention to Christopher Tufton. We cannot sit with this government. We cannot sit with this Minister of Health while the people of Jamaica are dying, the healthcare is running down. A white elephant of a Cornwall Regional Hospital, the hoisting of the Cuban doctors under the behest of Donald Trump and Marco Rubio. The PNP must clean house and go out on an almighty war. If it is that the PNP is waiting for Christopher Tufton to fall on his own sword, what is the point? Because he's not going to fall on his sword, believe you me, not in the corrupt regime that Christopher Tufton exists. Where Christopher Tufton could or would fell on his own sword is where you have a system of government where there is accountability. While there is none in this regime, we hope not to see Christopher Tufton falling on his sword anytime soon. But the PNP, though, they have strategy that could hasten that. Let me remind them, let me play back Andrew, let me remind them that we're not telling the PNP something that Mark Golden don't know. Mark Golden was in that very Portia Simpson's cabinet. Mark Golden was in that very Portia Simpson's cabinet. What is wrong with my assets here investing? Bear with. What is going on? So, me don't know why Mark Golden refused to be the people's protector. Why they refuse to be the people's protector? Because they're not protecting us from this corrupt, crooked regime. We're not being protected from them. There have to be a way to bring down Christopher Tufton. It cannot be that we have to go through another 5 years with Christopher Tufton, where Cornwall Regional Hospital will not be finished. More of us are going to die, as Dr. Hunter told us. And Christopher Tufton friends will continue to run the Caribbean Teaching Hospital down into the gutter. Because that's what has been happening there since Christopher Tufton and him friend them take over. the crookedness of these people. Now, when University Hospital using tax exemption to buy the things them for Dennis Garden, Dennis Garden sell them back to the hospital as market value. The hospital have to pick up the tax burden. And now we have to pay the HMR, the Tax Administration of Jamaica bill. So this was a heist carried out on us, the people of Jamaica, with the full knowledge of Labour and PNP. This was no backdoor deal by one party. Christopher Tufton knew full well. Both Christopher Tufton and Dennis Garden scammed us out of millions. When it comes to political accountability in the Jamaica Labour Party, we do not accept, accept, that's how the word go, expect to see political accountability from them. You just got to look at who is at the top. You just got to look at who is at the top. Why we're not really looking for political accountability from the Jamaica Labour Party. But if the PNP is serious about their standards on corruption that they explained to us in the run-up to the election and before, then Mark Golden must move swiftly. There's two major political capital out here for the PNP at the moment, just swinging all about the place. And I don't see they're harvesting off it. Stephen Donovan is comfortably back at work. Like nothing happened. Nothing to see here. Are we still talking about Stephen Donovan? But Mark Golden have to look better at who him bring into him camp. Because Lawrence Rowe might have well cost you that seat in West Central Kingston. So the decision Mark Golden with Gina Henkels, that is something that you need to consider. That is another, in my view, Mark Golden, that's another vetting failure. You need to have the Melissa charity money cleared up before you go forward with Gina Henkels. Otherwise, it's going to be a same old tardy old pop out in the middle where these people either lied to you or you know the truth, and I hope for by time that this thing might just fade away and people stop talking about it soon. But there is so much that the PNP have.
If you're waiting for an inheritance, but could do with some cash
so much
right
the
away,
PNP have at the moment.
Advance Inheritance could access you up to 50% of the money you're due at any time.
Mileage out of.
Imagine being able to build anything
And you would have
just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
2025 to December 2025, and they have asked that the function reviews whether
Hold on,
the procurement department is conforming to the GoJet requirement. We have reviewed it and asked what system they have put in place to mitigate that issue. That
my computer is having problem on this side tonight. We can't continue like this, Jamaica. We cannot continue like this. And Mark Golden must need you move swiftly on these two issues. Clean up house, and then you take on the issue of Christopher Tufton. The PNP must take down Christopher Tufton now. Christopher Tufton, over the last 11 years, have done too much, have gotten away with too much. And Mark Golden must clean house, remove Dennis Garden from PAC shadow cabinet and Area 3 chairmanship. Then refuse to sit in Parliament with Andrew Holness until Christopher Tufton has been removed from the Ministry of Health. We're not getting service for our money. And every time, by your look tomorrow now, Christopher Tufton is going to out with one whole heap of optics or one whole heap of cocky statement, because these are the things Christopher Tufton do. When Christopher Tufton thief and lie and mess up with money, these are the things that Christopher Tufton do. Business, just optics and business as usual. So, I know something.
My name is Dr. Caroline Espinosa Campbell. I was invited by the Jacden group of companies to help guide with the strategic direction for their newly developed services, which would be Jacden Pharma Medical Services. I have a wealth of experience in the healthcare industry here in Jamaica. Primarily, I'm an emergency room consultant, but I've also worked in an urgent care setting and also as a family practice physician. So I look forward to developing the healthcare here at Jacden Services, where we'll be focusing heavily on the dialysis, providing dialysis for Jamaicans at an affordable cost, making it accessible and accessible for everybody. Additionally, we'll be looking at providing our cardiology services, our acute care services, as well as our chemotherapy services. Of course, we know that cancers are one of the leading causes of death here in Jamaica. And of course, the impetus will be to focus on the top 5 causes, to include breast cancer, prostate cancer. Lung cancer, we know, is a common cancer here for both males and females. And of course, with the newly developed drugs coming out of Cuba, we'll be able to focus and strategically align our treatment plans to ensure that we have a cure for most of our cancers. So I really look forward to developing these service lines further and effectively making Jamaicans healthier. Really, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. Suffice it to say, we will be leading the technology and the technological advances as it relates to cancer care here in Jamaica and in the wider Caribbean. Well, the vision from the chairman, Mr. Gordon, is really to make healthcare affordable for all Jamaicans. In keeping with that vision, the strategic direction would be to making it cost effective. We have brought on some of the best consultants from Cuba to ensure that the healthcare delivery is done in a very precise manner using the top drugs. So we're able to shave the cost and cut the cost of the drugs and the treatment and the post-care that is necessary for our patients. And I also want to say that it's very important that we focus on the the mental health of our cancer patients. A lot of patients are the patient have suffered the loss of their colleagues and their friends, and of course, there would be strong focus on the mental care aspect of our cancer patients. So again, across the board, it's a total holistic care process that we want to put in place for our cancer patients. We hope to open this facility in the next 2 to 3 months, pending the necessary approvals from the different agencies. But I want to appeal to Jamaicans that once the service is opened, we invite you to come and share in our experience for good health care. We're open to everybody from the very young to the very old. And I want to see a lot more of our Jamaicans getting healthier. It will be affordable because, again, in keeping with the vision and the strategic directions from the board chairman and the Jacden group of companies, we will be the cheapest, most affordable, most effective healthcare provider in Jamaica. My name is Dr. Pernell Espinosa Campbell. I was in.
So you remember the other day when they dispelled the Cuban healthcare workers, Christopher Tufton told us that provision are being made in the private sector for such services. Dennis Gordon is one of the people who will be benefiting from the Cuban doctors leaving Jamaica, because Dennis Gordon has a lot of that facility and speciality. As you see, he's bringing in that speciality from Cuba. It's a good thing. Don't think I'm not saying it's not a good thing. It is a good thing. We need the services, but can we afford them in the private sector when our government have deprived us of the little assistance we have through the Cuban health program? And we did still a batter. You think we're going to afford to go to places like Jacden to get those treatments? So it's not that a wholesale look like Dennis Gordon is an undercover labor right. No, he's not. Labor right and PNP has always been working together. Trust me, it's nothing new. It's only that light has been shone more and more into that direction. But it is really nothing new. Don't watch the public cuss where you see they end up on political campaign. It's all theater. It's all theater and drama. You hear them come out at election time with nothing what we don't know about in a public spheres. You see none of them a dig no dirt upon one another, throw up in the public, which is not already in the public. They just use what is in the public to beat one another. They just use what's in the public to beat one another. But when them done, them role play, they are friends. Are we one get tricky at this thing? Are we one get tricky at this thing? I take a side. Their side is power and money. It's not about party, loyalty to the people or loyal to the country. It's power and money. You know, really go farther than this of a lot of them. We are the ones who are being tricked to think that it is something that we must take side with it, with or something that we must give undying support and loyalty to. So let us see if the PNP is serious, or is it that we're going to have to just tag along with whatever shaky the PNP have to offer. Because with these level of corruption, with these level of corruption and exposure, a tougher opposition is required. An opposition where if Mark Golding is serious about his anti-corruption stance, how can you sit in Parliament with Christopher Tufton and Donovan Williams? How can you, how that look on your stance on corruption if you prepare to look across the dispatch box and see the criminals operating from that side? But you cannot do that though. You cannot launch that attack on the Jamaica Labour Party until you clean house with Dennis Gordon. Because the only way why we never see Labour right out here with a press conference on the Dennis Gordon issue is because Christopher Tufton is so heavily implicated. If Christopher Tufton was not implicated in this, all hell would break loose in press conference. For all we know, based on how this thing look, Christopher Tufton and Dennis Gordon look like them a friend or some good business associates or some social associates or thing. But this is not something that happened by accident. This was a deliberate fraud. This was a deliberate fraud that went to the top of the Ministry of Health. And if the PNP let these two big, dirty whale of a corruption just die so without any political accountability, any political mileage or anything, then what are you, the PNP, supporting? What are you supporting if all it is that we have to stand and watch the country deteriorate further for the next 5 years? What are you supporting? What is the opposition protecting us from? Let's listen 5 more minutes of this bullshittery.
The Auditor General had identified in terms of record keeping, and they had indicated in their response that they have put in filing cabinets and hard folders, and those procurement activities are stored in hard folders and filing cabinets, and we have reviewed them and confirmed that that is so, Chair.
So let me ask you, the files we can't miss, them walk out of the hospital and go up on Mona Road? No, seriously, help me. How can those, first we hear rainfall and wet up some files, right? And I would like that report, right? Formally. But how can so many files be missing? Somebody take them out of the hospital and go somewhere with them?
Just to say, Chair, in terms of the flooded, in one of our reviews, I think in 2020, that the internal audit reviewed, don't hold me to that, I have to go back in the report, but they did mention, management did mention that there was an area flooded and they couldn't find some of the files. I did remember that in one of the reviews, Chair.
But if it's one thing to say the file them wet up, you know. May I understand if you tell me say the file them wet up, but if you tell me say you can't find the files, that should be in. So before the filing cabinets, which seem to be a great innovation of 2026, to put things in filing cabinet, where were these things being stored before?
As the Senior Director of Public Procurement said, Chair, they were in a storeroom. And just placed
what kind of storeroom?
Just in a holding area
where they would store.
Like the shed at the back of my yard when I put my lawnmower in it?
No, Chair. In the procurement unit, Chair.
Listen, people are watching, you know, and people are going to think a joke business this, you know. No, people really going to think it's a joke thing that we can be saying in 2026 that institution that spends billions of dollars just putting in filing cabinet and file jacket, and you are storing these in a holding area that flood out 3 times.
Hello there, hope you're very well. My name is Paul Smith. I've been a property investor for the last 39 years. I've taught.
And nobody is held accountable. And you don't need to be, listen, nobody needs to be a procurement specialist and accounting professional to know that that is basic. I would like the report on that formally to be brought back to the committee, because I can't accept it. I cannot accept that in this day and age, this is where we're at. Cannot accept that. And I don't have enough evidence to conclude that this is deliberate, and I won't say it. But it is hard not to come to that conclusion. That files, so you have the Auditor General do a report, you search hard, high and low, up and down, and it's only 50% of the file them you can find. If you tell me, so them wet up and have to dry, I thought we were now in the age where we were moving things from physical to electronic records. We scan things, so them dip on a server, etc., etc. I thought that's where we were, that we were not totally dependent on physical files that can get lost or fire or water. Have mercy.
Is that system now in place? Where
What?
serve is not.
Turn on your thing.
I just want to know, since you mentioned flooding, what kind of system do you have now? Is there a management system where this is stored electronically, or is it that we're still using, still using a filing cabinet and not some sort of a data management system?
That is correct.
That is correct?
That is correct. It's
and
still
this
a manual
is 2026, system. So this is still a manual
it's
kind
still
of
a manual
thing.
System.
You know, Chair, we talk about productivity and the lack of productivity. And this is exactly one of the reasons why we're not moving this country, because the lack of will. And the fact that you mentioned persons not being held accountable. If it is that we don't get to a place in Jamaica.
Talk to Andrew Holness, my dear. When it comes to lack of political will, you have to ask Sandra about it. Can't ask we, ask Andrew. That's how they start at the fish head.
Jamaica, where we can hire and fire people because of non-accountability, these things will continue where taxpayers' dollars.
I'm glad you talk about the hire and fire part, you see, because it applied to Horace Chang, it applied to Christopher Tufton, it applied to Darrell Vaz. So if Andrew Holness not take accountability at the top and hire and fire when they don't perform, then it would be hard for UNO to enforce that across the civil service. The very people them were helping a thief with money. And it make they don't have to do anything, because hold on a secret for one another. Because of them I help thief with money. I them I help make the fraudulent document. I them I help dump the document them over river.
It's not meant anything. It mean nothing. It's taxpayer dollar, so we can just do as we wish. And what I'm hearing today is astounding. I am just in total shock for all the things that I'm listening to. And there's actually more here. We haven't started.
We're only halfway through. But Madam Auditor General, when would you be in a position for the 28 that have been provided for you to do your diligence and then provide a report to us?
Mr. Chairman, that will have to be added to the list. I cannot promise that I'll be able to actually do that review for the next 6 months because we're really inundated at this point.
Okay. So let me ask you, Acting CEO, and Ministry of Finance could help me here. I genuinely thought that even where there were physical documents, there was a process to, scan, upload, digitize them. Is this the case in the majority of ministries, agencies, and departments that procurement files are all physical, all in some storage cabinet that could get wet or fire could burn down, and we would have no way of doing a proper audit of them? Somebody have released the mic so I can turn. Yes, go ahead.
Your last chance to disappear until summer and come back unrecognizable. Start the chair.
Right. I know that we still keep physical documents, but again, we're going to emphasize the fact that if you use the GoJEP system, then that data would always be available.
Available electronically.
Electronically. Right. So there are still some physical files, but we are definitely pushing for the use of GoJEP.
Yes, Mr. Hossein.
Yes, Chair. As I've stated, we made it mandatory that as of March 1, all, even those below the 1.5 million that is optional, all, if this 1 cent, must go on to GoJEP. So we do have that information on GoJEP, but however, for the ones before, they would not all be on GoJEP. And even so, in terms of there will always be some documents that are physical and not every single piece on GoJEP, but all relevant and important pieces would be on GoJEP.
All right. We have a long meeting. I'm just going to take, I'm going to take 2 minutes for a break because we're coming back. We do have parliament, so I'm coming back. All right, so if you need to stretch or water or go to the bathroom, 2 minutes.
At what point the people of Jamaica is going to see that this is not working in our favor? And at what point the people of Jamaica will seek redress or take action to benefit from the billions that we disburse in budget, from the trillions we disburse across agencies and departments a year time, with our country failing, stagnant, and falling apart. We the people have a responsibility as well. This is all not government. Neither Labour nor PNP is interested in fixing this broken system. Because if this broken system is fixed, them now go get as rich overnight as they're getting rich overnight with this broken system. Because as you see in this UHWI debacle, both of them are working against us. Both of them are working against us. It's up to whether we want to continue to support them, give ourselves away free to them, sell ourselves cheaply to them, and then for the next 5 years and into the future, we suffer the consequences of our disgraceful hungry belly decision. Globalist may go sleep now because I have an early day tomorrow. All right? So thank you all for being here this evening. And PNP, wanna tell Mark Golden do the right thing. Clean house and go on an almighty political riot against Christopher Tufton and Donovan Williams. So thank you very much. We're not going to be on in the morning, but please do join us back tomorrow night, Thursday night, for the people's point of view. Thank you very much for your support. Please hit the like button if you have not yet, and do join us back tomorrow night. Thank you. Good night from Global TV.
Too long in our little ghetto, run keep going on, less process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So that's why I say watch a man around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I she never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Day or night, we gonna bust down Babylon walls. Prepare every the way. Prepare every the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down war and crime. Fight down war and crime. Say Rastafari. War and crime. And do the righteousness. And we love Jah. And we love Jah. Jah Rastafari. And we love Jah. Jah Rastafari. Save all people. And we love Jah. We love Jah. Jah Rastafari. We love Jah. Jah Rastafari. Preserve all people. Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I and I say, watch a man around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace while we penalize. Day or night, we gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare every the way. Prepare every the way for Jah Rastafari. Fight down war and crime. Fight down war and crime. Rastafari, war and crime, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah, and we love Jah, Rastafari. Preserve all, and we love Jah, me love Jah, me love Jah, Rastafari. Preserve all, me love Jah, Rastafari.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.